guys, welcome back to the channel. I know what you see behind me. This is a 2001 CR125 in parts, but this is what $250 gets you from Facebook Marketplace. I'll go ahead and put a picture in so you guys see what I paid for it. But here it is. I'm pretty sure it's all here. Picked this thing off of Facebook Marketplace, listed as parts, but I think I could put it back together and fix it. I mean, we'll see, but supposedly the motor has a bad bottom end. Supposedly the top end is good, but looking upon, man, that just hurts my eyes. Looks like the chain broke and just cracked the case. I don't know if I could fix that, but I may be able to salvage a left crankcase when I go ahead and do the bottom end rebuild. Another major thing looking over the parts, the main parts, is the swing arm. Man, that chain ate right through it. That doesn't look too good. I did get a repair quote on this. Supposedly you could put a tube right here and TIG weld this shut, and then you just have to metalwork it smooth for $120. So I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. Forks are in great shape. I mean, guys, for $250 I can make my money back on the forks for that, so not really too worried. There's the subframe, got some parts there, gas tank, air box, and then our bucket of bolts, carburetor, some brakes, stuff like that. And there's the old plastic. I think that's a pretty good deal, guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But in today's video, we're gonna tear into everything, see what we need, write down what we need on the board, and then figure out what it's gonna cost to put this thing back together, and is it worth it, or should I just part it out? So let's get to it, guys. Before we continue with this video, stop, hit that like button, subscribe. Come on, guys, I'm not asking for money. And just like that, we are back. Okay, so we've been going over some of the small parts, making sure everything is here, really. Also forgot to say that he even threw in some wheel bearings for the front and rear, so that's good, as long as a throttle tube. But we got the brakes, the front, the rear, the front, carburetors there. There's the clutch cover, rear shock, the linkage, handlebar. I noticed that no clutch cable or throttle cables. I'm guessing that's a motor mount. That's a top motor mount. That's for the rear. I'm gonna guess that these are the ones right there. Not too sure. That's what my assumption is so far. But I mean, we got all the bolts. It's really hard, guys. If you're buying a parts bike like this, or someone who took it apart and like didn't want to put it back together, it's really important that they at least labeled somewhat of the bolts, or you'll be, if you're not like an expert and you haven't been tearing these bikes down, it's gonna be really hard to find where all those bolts go. So we looked over the main parts. The main frame is good. This is the only issue, which that isn't really a issue for me. That's just a little divot, but otherwise it looks perfect. Forks are in great shape. The oil seals are good still. Triple clamps may need new bushings or the seal. There's the rear swing arm. Like I said, this piece right here is gonna need repaired. Here's our board so far of what we need. Radiators, maybe, I'll show you those right now. I'm gonna think yes. I mean, I had a 2003 and they were a little worse than this, but these are bent, and you know, I don't want to replace them if I don't have to, but these are looking like I'm gonna have to replace them. Not too bad though, only about $100 around there on eBay. So let's go back to the board. Hoses and clamps. There's only a couple hoses over there. The bike needs grips. This is something small. I noticed that the stator cover wasn't in the box. Clutch cable, throttle cable, plastics, they're all there besides the rear number plate, but they're pretty beat up. And I wouldn't say beat up, but I might as well get a new set probably after I find out if it runs or not. And it needs an air filter cage along with an air filter. So far the major issues is that crankcase that I showed you guys is dent, and the swing arm repair. What we are going to do next is tear into, I'm probably just going to remove the head right here and look and inspect this piston. The compression felt great, like I could barely kick it over, but that might be due to a bottom end. We might even go in and remove this whole cylinder and piston so we can see if that bearing below has a problem, or the main bearing. This stator looks really good shape. I'm guessing this is replaced, so that's just the only problem right there. Oil will seep right through this case, so yeah, and that you could tell that this chain broke and dented your case. That's why it's always important to have that chain cover guard, but I mean, even then it could still break through. So let's go ahead and dig into the engine, see what we'll need as far as this goes. Alright guys, finally got it off. That thing was like rusted on almost, as you can see. So as you can see, that's definitely not a new piston. It's got some scoring right here. I really want to inspect the cylinder, because that's a big thing, and cylinder honestly looks good, guys, as far as I could tell from right here. Looks pretty good. Okay guys, another reason why I love two strokes, you can take them apart in like 10 minutes. So alright, so here's the cylinder. I don't know if you guys could see. Honestly, it looks really good. Could use maybe a honing, but I don't see any like major nicks or nothing like that. Pretty sure this crank is supposed to have some give to it. Like, you see how stiff it is? I think that bearing right there is bad, but I mean, when I was doing the crank test, it shouldn't have no play, which it doesn't. But then again, I think it has I think it's like frozen to the crank, because this arm should be able to move up and have some turn to it, I thought. And that's the problem. So I'm gonna guess that if I already have to change this case, you know, might as well buy the full kit. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I'm already gonna be there, so why not just replace the crank and the bearings and bottom end and all that. Okay guys, looks like to put this bike back together, roughly this is what I will need. I'm sure I will run into more stuff along the way, but I showed y'all the list. I added a full top and bottom end just to be safe, water pump bolts, and I do not have the tools to split the crank case or to remove the crankshaft, so we will need to buy the tools to do that. So what do you guys think? I paid $250 for all these parts. I could pretty much put it back together. It's gonna need some decent, you know, repairs with the crankcase and the swing arm, but you think I should spend the money, buy the top and bottom end kit, put it together, and then sell it, or should I just part it out? I mean, I think it'd be pretty fun to build the bike on the channel, but I'm just not sure if it will be worth it or not. So I'm gonna have to sit down, calculate how much it'll cost, and then figure out then. However, these bikes are selling for over $2,000 right now put together, so if I'm only $250 in, I do have some room to work with for these parts. So it's really up to you guys. Comment down below, do you want to see me build this bike or not? I will build it. If not, then I'll probably just part it out. So thank you guys for watching, stay motivated, and I'll see you guys next time.